Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here, actually giving you a post-commentary of the Week 5 battle versus Togue of the Portland Timburrs in NPL Season 7. So this is a post-com this time because actually during the battle, about 2/3 in, my power went out. There is a person that is like going around the house right now, and I don't know what's happening. My mom is having construction people. Anyway, so I'm giving a post-com because this first 2/3 of it, which, I mean, the whole thing was supposed to be a live recording, but then literally my entire house just shut off for about a minute, and then power came back on, but the video wasn't salvageable at that point because it didn't fully format, and you'll see my reaction to that in the portion that I then later finished with the live commentary. But nonetheless, this is the team that I used against Togue, so I'm going to explain what this is. So with Donphan, I made it pretty offensive. The idea was it wasn't supposed to be like, he had a lot of mons that were in the base 50 speed tier, and so the idea here was for Donphan to be kind of the middleman and see what mons were speed invested and what weren't. Because, I mean, for example, if Mega Mawile outspeeds Donphan, that means there's a lot of speed investment. Otherwise, I mean, I get the advantage and I get to hit him with a Soft Sand boosted Earthquake. Soft Sand makes ground type attacks have 1.2 times power, so that was the rationale there. It's pretty, standard setup here. Otherwise, it's just the EVs were meant to test what speeds of various mons there were. This was also meant to outspeed P2 by a fair amount, seeing what kind of set that it would run. I brought Amoongus because, let's see, let's look at his team, what there was. Well, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit different now. There's been some trades going on. But so I'll explain that basically I did want to put a physical Amoongus. I felt that it was going to handle most of his team that way, and anything else, I mean, that was the point of Amoongus. Take some physical hits, and if there's some other special dudes or something like that, then we'll have another mod and kind of support him in that way. So the reason I have Yachi though is because I realized after I set up this whole team, I'm like, well, if Omastar gets a Shell Smash, I'm screwed. Like, I basically lose right then and there. However, I do have Manaphy, so depending on its health, I could have survived maybe. But nonetheless, I had to be safe. Yachi meant that I guaranteed live a Ice Beam, and then I could retaliate with a Giga Drain and then finish that thing off. But yeah, then we got Manaphy. So the idea behind Manaphy here, you see I'm just like fully max, and you might be like, why? Like, what a standard set. Well, Modest Manaphy outspeeds base 86s by 1 point. Timid 86s by 1 point. Guess who's an 86? Rotom-Mow. And Togue has Rotom-Mow, so the idea is I could get up Tail Glow, and then I would be able to retaliate with a hit. However, I don't have Ice Beam, so it's technically not the best handler of that. I do have a Conberry because of the idea that if Rotom is Scarf, though, it would outspeed me and try to predict me to switch out, so it would just Volt Switch, which is why I have the Wakanberry, or it could T-Bolt, of course, and then I would just be able to take it fairly nicely since I don't have a lot of HP investment anyway. This is also meant to handle T-Bolt versus P2, which I imagine is a potential bring. But yeah. Then we got Tyranitar. It's a DD variant. I really like sub DD. I don't know, it doesn't always work, but so I've been trying a bunch of different sets, but the idea is I believe I outspeed his entire team at +1 with this speed investment, and yeah, this is the best coverage for his team with Crunch and EQ. Then we got Swellow. Swellow has the speed to just outspeed Torn T by 1 point, and yeah, just pretty standard set outside of that. And then you give the rest into HP investment. Then you got Raikou, which its speed is actually just to outspeed 86s as well with its 299 speed. And the rest I just put into Modest. The only thing is it doesn't outspeed Archeops because of that, so therefore if he brings Archeops, then I have to bring in something else to take that. But I think that should be plenty doable. So that's the idea behind the team here, and let's just get into the battle. So The first thing when I saw his team, I was surprised that he brought Slowbro and P2. Like before this battle, he only brought one or the other. So he has a pretty defensive team going on, and I'm like, well, at the very least, it's kind of good because I definitely have some wall breakers going on. Donphan's going to be pretty nice to get some knocks on those recovery and Eviolite users. So that's kind of nice there. So Alolan, Marowak, Slowbro, and P2 and Mega Mawile are all in this speed tier that Donphan can determine if they have speed investment or not. Then you have Torn-T and Latios, and so, you know, those require to be outsped by other mons, but Donphan is a great determinant for that. So actually starting off, I am going to lead with Donphan. So what he does is he leads with Torn-T. So a couple different things that I'm thinking here. By the way, this commentary is going to be a lot faster than you'd really expect because it's not a live commentary anymore. So I can assess everything about my thought process, and then I can, yeah, you know, it's a lot faster that way, so I don't need to keep second guessing myself, and then if Togue second guesses himself and how long those turns take. But yeah, so going from here, the first thing is I do have Stealth Rocks on this, but at the same time I have Knockoff. So I don't have Stone Edge to hit him really hard, but the idea is here we can see if he's offensive or if he's defensive. So just going right from the get-go, you know, I have Sturdy, and the thing is Donphan is a really good mon, so technically it was a bit of a risk turn one to just go for an attack, but I do go for Knockoff as he goes for Taunt. So I am able to knock off his safety goggles. A little surprised by that bring because, I mean, why wouldn't you just have leftovers? Like that would just counteract that and then it wouldn't be a worry. However, I guess the idea is that he could pretend that he's a choiced mon in that case, but that's my only guess because otherwise leftovers is going to be best each time. But here I switch into Manaphy as he goes for Toxic. I don't remember, did I have Heal Bell on this thing? So I do, yeah. I had Heal Bell because I wasn't going to do my Rain Dance set, as you saw I had Wakanberry instead of like Z Rain Dance and that kind of thing. So yeah, I just immediately come in with the Toxic. I can press Heal Bell at any time now. As of now, he's definitely looking like a very defensive Torn-T. I think I did the calc, and by the way he took the knockoff, he was pretty physically invested as well. So here I am able to press Surf right away. I just want to gauge some damage. I didn't want to be too risky there. Also, you'll see in the commentary here, as I was talking about with the length of the game, that it got down to 40 seconds on my part because I was assessing every situation, and therefore that's a part of why the games take as long as they do. But yeah, so I immediately go into Raikou because one thing about Raikou is it's pretty bulky and it also has Toxic. So it's able to handle a lot of his bulky core here that he has of those 4 mons that could or could not outspeed Donphan depending on their speed investment. So that's why I immediately brought in Raikou. Yeah, later you'll see another Manaphy versus P2 situation, but as of now I thought it would be safest to go into Raikou. So here he goes into Marowak, and I don't have Shadow Ball. So it's the one coverage move I don't have on this thing to hit Marowak, which sucks because like I was thinking more of HP Ice to like hit the other stuff, but Shadow Ball overall may just have been better. So unfortunately I'm not able to like predict with a Shadow Ball there, but I am able to get the Toxic off, which isn't the worst thing. Now, it's pretty obvious that he's going to get rocks up here, but I just, you know, there's nothing that Raikou can do anyway, so I have to switch out. So I go into Manaphy because I'm moderately bulky and I should be able to take one hit. But yeah, he gets up his rocks, and that's something I'm really going to have to worry about later, because what this does is it means that Donphan no longer has its Sturdy, and it would be nice to get those rocks out of the way because now everything is just going to get residual. And so I'm going to go for Heal Bell here. I could have went for Tail Glow, but I just thought overall the idea of not being whittled by Toxic would have been better. So I go for the Tail Glow. And so I'm able to go for the Surf here. I do get the crit. And Classic Togue does not like hacks whatsoever. I mean, who does like hacks, to be fair? But overall, this really wasn't essential because it wasn't the biggest thing in the world because of the way he brought in P2 and the way he used it. However, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say this affected how he could have used P2 in the rest of the game. But overall, that's how it seemed he was going to play it. So nonetheless, I go for the Surf here, and I just keep on trying to whittle him. At this point, I mean, Trick Room's running out, so all this is really doing is benefiting me, where he's going to be losing this battle. So he sees there's no way that he's going to get, he's not going to get the upper hand, so he is just going to attack me and not be able to kill me off. So at this point I have +3 mana fee, and that P2 does go down. Yeah, because otherwise he would have had to bring in, because I have Shadow Ball, right? So that would have hit Latios plenty hard. So yeah, he really couldn't have brought in too much else reliably, especially as you'll see what his Latios set is later. But yeah, so his Torn is of course going to be faster. Well, I guess it's not guaranteed, but it shows that he has at least some speed investment. So I go to Swellow here, and I can't kill Latios from full with Specs Boomburst, which is why I go for the U-turn here. I go into Amoonguss because I want to see what he's going to do with Latios, and now I see he has Light Screen, and I'm like, well, shoot. Okay, so this was goofy. So yeah, he switches out Latios. I don't want to take a Psyshock if he has it, and also he could go to Marowak, and either way, my Amoonguss set is not capable of handling those mons. So as he brings in Mawile, I go into T-Tar. And so here, come to think of it, I don't think this is what I was trying to do, but what I was gauging to do is what his Mawile set was really going to be. As I just was subbing down, and then I was like, I was subbing down mostly just to scout for what he was going to do. But then I also saw that it turned out it was helping to stall out Light Screen. So not my intention, come to think of it, but yeah, it was still helpful. And the CQ shows that he has not only HP investment, but also defense investment. So that's good to know, which means Donphan should outspeed. Now this was a bit of a risky play where Mawile could have attacked me here, and so that could have been pretty bad. Because Donphan's the one thing that can really handle a lot of his remaining team. But I did want to go for Rocks because it helps whittle, it helps take out that Marowak, it helps hurt the Torn T, and it's overall just good residual. So I am able to get that play right. So there's a series of 50-50s here. Does Mawile attack me? No. So going for Rocks is the right play. Now here, can I get my Rocks out, or is he going to spin block with Marowak? So here I expected him to go into Marowak, or at least I didn't want to risk it because I felt that was more valuable in that sense. But no, so he doesn't end up doing that, so then this is another 50-50, but I do get this one where I am able to get the Rocks out of here. And his rocker was what? Marowak, so he's going to have to bring that in again if he's going to get those Rocks up again. So here he knocks me off my Amoonguss, and I knew at this point Yachi Berry isn't going to help me at all, so it's fine that I'm losing that. But here he brings in Marowak, and this is the second situation where not only does Raikou not have a good matchup against Marowak, but neither does Amoonguss. So if I had Foul played, that would have also been a good coverage move for his team. But nonetheless, I go for Sludge Bomb because I know that Marowak is inevitable, but I can't just bring anything in just in case. So I bring in Donphan now because I know Rocks are coming up, and I mean, it's just not worth having anything else in just in case. So here, as you saw already, he has a Trick Room team, so his mons are bound to be slower overall, and so I'm just able to take out that Marowak reliably. I know he's not going to switch out there, so there's no reason to even risk going for Rapid Spin, because blocking it is kind of nice there. So yeah, he goes for Trick Room here, and I go for Knockoff. Now this is essential. This is essential that you look at this damage here, because this is something that comes into play at the very end with what Toge is claiming is the situation. You see, this does 43% damage. This 100% tells you that Slowbro has defense investment. This is proven by my Donphan being max attack adamant, going for Knockoff. If he had just max HP, I would have done at least 51.7, which Showdown probably would have said is 52. So he would have had to have a significant amount of investment. This is huge because later in the game, Raikou is able to take out Slowbro, and Toge claims that he just had EVs that just weren't put into his mon. And turns out, if you have 200 defense, the minimum roll I can do is 43. This is important because Toge said that he had 52 special defense nature. I just used Sassy because it doesn't really affect the situation here. But what that meant was Raikou pretty much, I mean, for sure in its favor, it was for sure in Raiku's favor in order to be able to take out the Slowbro from the range it was, because it came in after rocks. And so it does 77 to 91, and I just need to do 88. Yeah, so it was kind of right in the middle, come to think of it. I'm not sure if I can affect like Stealth Rock, if that's a thing that... So yeah, I'm not sure if he had a plus special defense nature or not. I don't remember that. Either way, the point is that like Thunderbolt for sure had a chance to kill, and he was claiming like that he was fully specially defensive. So then that was when I first called him out, like, no, that's not even possible for me to kill Slowbro from that range. I don't remember what range Slowbro was in at that time. I think it was at 88 though, because it was at full and then hit rocks. So he was saying he was fully SPDF, and I was like, no, that's not even possible. How could I have killed you then if that was the case? And he said, no, it turns out I only put 52 and I meant to put 252. Well, that's not the case, because he put Fizz Death into a Slowbro, evidenced by this damage from .fin. So just putting that out there, it's the one thing about this game that is objective and you can like prove. So the fact that he was lying about that was a weird thing. Anyway, we're going to go on with the game here. And so he sets up Trick Room, and I get a knockoff on his Slowbro. Get off the Rindo Berry, that's not going to affect this game. Now here, he has the option of scalding me or recovering, and so he decides to slack off as I go for Rapid Spin. So the rocks get out of here and I die of Toxic, and I'm fine with that situation. So here he brings in Slowbro. I have Volt Switch, Toxic, HP Ice, and T-Bolt. Here I go for T-Bolt. So I'm able to do a little bit of damage. Now Trick Room is up. My Raikou does not have a ton of speed. Like if he's a normally fast Latios right now, he is going to go second. So yeah, come to think of it, because of that, he probably has a fair bit of speed investment. So I go first here. Which is a bit of a tricky situation, because what he does is he sets up Light Screen. So here I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's going to try to get off a big hit. So what I'm going to do is I feel like I tricked myself here, because at this point I don't think I recalled who went first, which is why I immediately switched out to Swellow, I think, because I wanted to preserve Raikou. Come to think of it, because this is right where the power went off. And so I'm going to let the live recording take care of the rest. But just to put in conclusion, because at the end of the video I don't resolve this, this was Toge's last battle in Season 7. He has since retired for the season, or at least for now, in order to focus on school. And so it was an interesting last battle to go on, and you'll see what the commentary talks about the damage rolls and things with Slowbro later. But yeah, so there is a new team that has taken over for the Portland Timbers. They still have most of the same team, and that's why I said there were trades that went on, because the new team made some trades to change up that team a bit. And but yeah, they're going to keep the record and the standings and things, but it's a new coach, so we'll see how he does from here. But yeah, I will let the live video take care of the rest.
Okay, so my power just went out, and so as I was live recording, everything just shut off, and therefore it seems that OBS didn't process the video as a normal file. I'll see if I can salvage it. I guess you'll see in the video. But as of now, it's looking like it's lost, so I'll just do this last part, at the very least, to keep myself in the game. So, anyway, I'm back here with 3 versus 4 in Toge's favor. He has Light Screen and Trick Room up right now. So, there's a couple things I need to think about if I am to win this with what I want to do. So Thunderbolt does 53 to 63 if I'm modest. It does 58 to 69. It does 58 to 69 if I am that. But however, he's probably max HP, so that's not even something to think about. It'll do 25 to 30 basically, and Mawile is going to be at 26. So that's how the math lines up there. Basically my thought process here is he has one turn of Trick Room left. If he has a Psychic Stab move he is going to be able to go for here, and either he'll damage my Raikou or whatever wants to come in. Going to Amoonguss would mean that I lose it, and I can't do that. I see Swellow as the most expendable Mon because it's going to lose to a Sucker Punch from Mawile at this range, and it just seems Raikou overall has the better chance of killing things. So if we're talking 252 here, Thunderbolt should be able to kill, especially after rocks. It'll kill after rocks. Anyway, so my play here is to go to Swellow. And he's going to go for a Z move as he Z Mementos. Does that put Mawile back at full health? I don't know. F. It does. Do I lose then? Here's the thing, I don't guarantee to lose. That does suck. If I did go to Amoonguss there, I would have a way better chance. But I mean, how was I supposed to predict that, you know? So I'm going to go for Tailwind here. He's going to go for Iron Head. He doesn't decide to SD. Gotta admit, I'm a little surprised by that. Here's basically what I'm hoping. He has 2 turns left of Light Screen. He left again. There's a lot that I'm potentially banking on here. Oh, it's gonna come so close. It's gonna come really close. This is assuming that Amoonguss outspeeds, by the way. Let's say he does have 177. Don't I get like 90 or something? 96, yeah. I should outspeed. Basically, here's my point. I want to Spore here. Then go into Raikou. Then T-Bolt. And then Volt Switch. Because the idea is, I will be of enough health that Raikou can take the rest of his team on. That's the hope. I guess he can't guarantee that. But that's the hope. Because I sport... I don't know. So I Spore here. We burn 1 turn. I don't know what the optimal way to do this is. Because I'm honestly thinking of between 2 options here. I could Volt Switch with Raikou first to get some damage. Then I could go to Amoonguss, guaranteed live a hit, press Spore, burns a turn. Then I go for HP Fire. Then HP Fire a couple of times, and then I attack with Raikou with T-Bolt. That's my thought process right now. Or I go to Amoonguss now. Oh, I like that. Because what that means, oh my gosh, I'm just playing with odds here, dude. Oh, this is such a huge play. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe this is happening. Let's also talk about a potential HP fire. We're talking about doing around 25%. Should for sure be a 4 KO from here. If, light screen isn't up. Oh, this is so crazy. So I basically have to hope he doesn't get lucky. Because what I can do is, first I can Spore. Getting off a little bit of damage here with a Volt Switch against a Mawile. Puts him at, about 80%. That means I could potentially 3 a KO. I think that's ultimately the best play. Look like Trump right now. You can't see it, but I'm doing it with my pointing, my index finger. I think that's the play. Gonna go to Raikou. We're gonna press Volt Switch. We go to Amoonguss. There will still be Tailwind up to where I can Spore with Amoonguss. Okay, he doesn't even decide to damage me, so that's cool. I go to Amoonguss. He decides to play rough. I get to Spore here. If he decides to stay in, he decides to stay in, but you know what? TBD. TBD. That play was definitely good for me. Amoonguss will use Spore. What this does is it makes him run out of light screen, and then I can just keep pressing HP fire. And hope that he'll be put in a range that will kill. So now we Spore. So light screen is off. And I get to HP fire. He's burned a turn of sleep at this point. I'm still faster for this one turn. See what he decides to do here. So I go for HP fire. I do a fair bit. This is interesting too because let's just see about Iron Head potentially killing me here. So play rough against Amoonguss. Chances are I'm going to die here. Chances are. Impish. It should do 28 to 34, and it did 29. So if he's max attack adamant, he got a lower roll. He has Iron Head. We know this is the case. Iron Head is 51 to 60. Should be able to 2 KO him from here. Basically, my situation right now is, if he gets a lucky roll and he gets the first turn wake. Or wait, no, it's not even a first turn wake at this point. Sporing should just automatically be my best play, right? I keep going back to this. I'm sorry, this is so important though. Modest. T-Bolt should kill this thing. Sucker Punch does a fair bit to me, and that's what I'm worried about. The only reason this would be important is to potentially have Amoonguss live.
and threaten the Slowbro or whatever wants to come in. So I'm going to press Spore. And I get flinched. Ugh. Not that that should matter overall, but that sucks though. That was a thing. That was definitely a thing. That could have factored in. But I am modest, max special attack Raikou. I should be able to kill from here. Should be able to kill Slowbro after rocks, guaranteed. Unless he has a real amount of Spadef. We'll see. I think he's deciding between two things here. He's either deciding to sucker me, or he's going to sack Torn in order to go to Slowbro and hope to live a T-Bolt so he can set up Trick Room and then have Mawile kill me from there. Those are the options. I currently have 3 emails right now and I'm kind of scared. Yeah, so, gosh. Gosh, this is spooky. Okay, so yeah, he decides to sack here just as we were thinking. Thunderbolt kills! Boom! Oh my gosh. That was so scary. It wasn't... I don't think it was. He's probably thinking I'm timid. Thunderbolt is 8. Let's invest. Whew. Sorry, I got some emails right now and it's mixing 240 Spadef. No HP. I want to check to make sure. $252. What? That doesn't make sense. What? If you're specially defensive, if you're max Spadef, you 100% would have lived. Let's see. Yeah, bold. What? I don't understand. This calc doesn't line up. What? PA, I don't know what that means. I don't understand. That doesn't make sense if that's the case. Like, he should not live. Or, I mean, I shouldn't have killed. Literally have my paste. It's that spread. I legit don't understand, because that isn't mathematically possible. I won, but like, what? He's fully SPDF? I don't... No, if he's fully SPDF, he has no chance of killing me. I mean, I keep getting that mixed up. I have no chance of killing him. What? I don't understand. We're going to discuss this. I'll probably put this in the description afterwards. But right now, this doesn't make sense. So, like, objectively, that's the one cool thing about math. So, we'll work this out. Thank you all for watching. What a weird battle, but I guess it kind of worked out. We got that Hex, we lost that Hex battle with getting flinched against Small While, so we didn't get to Spore there. But, you know, it overall worked out, so that was nice. But yeah, we'll discuss it. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, sub it. Until later. Peace.